Hi, friends. So I'm gonna invite my friend Wesley on here. He is a BCBA. Specifically, he's a behavioral athletics coach. I think that's really, really awesome. So he's gonna be joining us very soon. And we're just gonna really dive into his story, what he does, and his own experience with ABA and fitness. So let's give him a little more time, and he should be joining us right away. Thank you. There we go. There he is. Perfect. All right. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you are. Okay. There you go. How you
Hello, how are
doing,
you?
sir? How you doing, brother?
Doing pretty good, pretty good.
Love it. We
It's,
love to see it.
huh?
Love to hear it. How's your day going so far?
It's okay. It's been a lot going on. It's hustling, but things are good. What about you?
Same. That's a good problem to have. I feel it. Now they have a
Yes,
lot going on. I love it.
oh yeah.
Thank you for hopping on. I appreciate it. I really, for anyone just joining us right now, so we haven't spoken in the past before. I really wanted to take this time to kind of dive into your brain and like ask you a couple of questions that I think are going to be helpful for me and a lot of people who are in similar positions that I'm in. So basically, people of color in the ABA and fitness industry. I really want to talk about that a little bit, if you don't mind. But I would
Sure.
really prefer if we start talking about your story and who you are as a person first, if you don't mind.
Sure. Oh man, where do I start? So, yeah, so a lot of uh, my background within ABA started just pretty typical with every other BCBA with an autism care treatment setting. Got my bachelor's from the University of North Texas in Denton, Texas. Got my bachelor's, and then I went on to do my master's at the same program, which is, a lot of people don't do that.
Yep.
Um, but I really enjoyed the time I was there. I built a really strong relationship and connection with a lot of um, the the advisors and the faculty members there, along with a lot of the graduate students who were already there that were either getting ready to graduate or working at the clinics that I was at. So it was much easier for me to sort of transition into a graduate student while I was already there because I actually in my senior year of my undergrad I actually started attending some of the graduate level labs as a undergrad student.
I
I
did
was
that
able to,
too. It was really helpful. I did that too.
yeah,
Really,
it was pretty cool because I got a chance to see really how labs function. I got a chance to see what kind of projects were going on, and then coming from the undergraduate level, I really didn't understand a ton. I
really.
mean, I knew the basics, right? So you have the basic principles, different procedures, a little bit of history. But then when it came down to a lot of the meat and potatoes, a lot of it was kind of over my head at the time. But I stuck with it. I didn't get intimidated. I tried to ask as many questions as possible, whether it was in the lab or outside of lab. Most of my courses just came outside of the lab because the graduate advisors wasn't trying to hear what an undergrad had to say. Um,
Never do. They never do.
but it was good. But it was good to kind of see what kind of questions graduate level students were asking.
Okay.
Um, what kind of what and sort of how they were putting together their projects in their presentations. So I sort of shifted in that direction. I started working at a clinic in North Texas. Got my experience as an ABA therapist, and I would say probably 3 months into it, that's when I really fell in love with ABA.
I guess.
Um, everything just sort of made sense. Everything changed. Things just got so much. I mean, it just made more sense.
Like
And from there,
overall.
I knew that was my path to sort of keep rolling and going with behavior analysis.
I love that. Okay, awesome. So, like, how do you get into fitness coaching in ABA? How did that happen after you became a BCBA? That were you always into fitness? Like, how did that come up? Like, how did that arise?
Yeah, so the way it started, I grew up playing sports, pretty much every sport. Well, that was in Texas, so that was football, basketball, not a ton of baseball, but I mean I was always an athlete. I wanted to run, track, and stuff like that, and so I was always active, and I still played ball in undergrad as a within an intramural setting and stuff like that. But then after working at the clinic, I realized that. Um, a lot of the kids that we were working with, they were only primarily eating chicken nuggets and goldfish.
And goldfish. Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say goldfish. Yeah, that's
and
it.
then yeah, and it's not a fault of the parents or anything like that. It's just that's the parents were just doing what they needed to do to get calories in or to get them to eat or whatever.
Hmm.
And so it was one of those things where it was like I see the parents are trying, but I see they're having a hard time. Is there something that we can do from the behavioral approach, right? Because behavior is behavior, whether it's, an individual with, developmental disabilities or, whatever it is, writing a paper, shooting the ball, whatever it is, right?
Behavior.
Um, it's just all behavior. So the idea came up, I was like, okay, well, how can we reduce childhood obesity with individuals with autism? And so a buddy of mine, when we were in our graduate program, it was my final year. I was working on my thesis at the same time, but we started a graduate lab over health, sports, and fitness, really targeting individuals with autism and trying to just increase physical activities and trying to embed different contingencies or um, interventions in place to try to increase that exercise routine. The direction that we started going in was gamification, um, and we started to kind of explore some of the different options and stuff like that. But for me, I was like I said, I was finishing my senior year, and I was juggling my master's thesis as well. So my buddy continued it on after I graduated, but that's how I kind of really got my hands dirty with ABA and health, sports, and fitness.
That's awesome. So, like, when is that? After that, I imagine that's that when Team ABA kind of like came up, or how did that come up?
No, so Team ABA came up actually 3 years later.
Awesome. Okay.
Um, yeah, because I graduated with my master's in 2014, and
Gotcha.
then I met up with some of the other co-founders of Team ABA, Kirk Kirby, Beverly Kirby, and then Natalie Parks at 2018 and at the ABAI in San Diego, where I'm from. Well, where I live, not where I'm from, but where I live. I had met Dr. Natalie Parks prior to the ABAI, and she knew my interest in sports, health, and fitness, and then she ran into Kirk. They talked about it. Natalie was like, "Hey, I know the perfect guy for you." We met that same day, I believe, after all the lecture and stuff like that, and we just started building from there. So it was kind of funny how it all came together, because I've always had the passion for it. Um, but then, just kind of like the idea of, networking and, meeting the right people and sort of really being able to express what you want to do and how you want to do it, but then knowing how to do that, right? Really, really plays a huge role in that process.
All right. That's awesome. Okay, that's pretty cool. I honestly, all right, that's pretty awesome. I honestly, Team ABA is probably one of my biggest inspirations. I'm not gonna lie, into starting my business. It really allowed me
Awesome.
to see. It really allowed me to see that I'm not alone. That there's other people who do ABA fitness and are doing it consistently, doing it well, and seeing effective results. And you guys just have such an amazing community that it really inspired me. It's like, hey, like I gotta get on this. Like I gotta make
Thank
sure
you.
like I'm building community as well. And
Appreciate
yeah,
it.
you guys do an amazing job for sure. Everything that you guys share, I'm on it every time. I'm like, okay, every time. It's awesome. It really is. Um,
Thank you. Thank you.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So, so like that kind of brings me to my next point. So, let me just phrase it this way. What does a typical week look like to you now? So now that you're not doing behavioral interventions, now that you're not necessarily in your master's program, how does a typical week look like? Um, Feel free to be as detailed as you need to be, or like if you don't want to be detailed, that's also cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of it is, well, honestly, right,
Mhm.
to be transparent, because I'm sure there's
Love
a
it.
lot of folks that are going to be in the same situation that I'm in, maybe the same situation that you're in, right? I still consult with a autism care treatment practice as well. So I still do that. I still have a couple of kiddos that I see, and and do that, because I mean, I still love doing that work, and I still believe that there's a huge need.
So much
Uh,
work to be done. Yeah.
yeah, there's a huge need, um, and I would not only would I feel bad ethically, right, to like kind of like just up and leave them, but just personally, right?
It's fam.
You build relationships with these families and with these clients, and you sort of invest a lot of your time and energy and emotions into that. So I still do that as well. Um, but in regards to the sports stuff, this is how things are different. Things are a little bit different, right? So all throughout, I'm gonna try to make it make sense.
You're
Uh,
good. Life is
but all
complicated right
throughout,
now. You're good.
all throughout, your typical BCBA graduate studies
Mm.
is primarily focused towards EAB, right, or autism care treatment. There's a little bit of OBM involved,
Like a
and then
class,
some, huh?
like one class.
Yeah, and then and then you sometimes have your animal trainers and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so that's what a lot of our repertoire is established in within the ABA training that we get, or the behavior analysis training that we get about the science of what we do and how we do it. So a lot of my weeks, a lot of my time is spent in regards to health, sports, and fitness is not unraveling what I've learned, but trying to really build a foundation the same way that we were taught how to approach, ABA clinics or autism care treatment or, animal training, whatever it is, building that foundation of how to approach it from a sports perspective, right? Because ABA is essentially, right, the science to increase socially significant behaviors, right, through the manipulation of environmental events.
Respect.
With that in mind, from the autism care treatment perspective, right, we have our five primary domains, right? Social, communication, play, fine motor, gross motor, right? There's give or take a few, however you want to list it out.
Daily living and all that,
Yeah, they live and stuff like that, right? And that's for essentially, right, bettering, like for the betterment of that individual, right? If they can tie their shoes independently, you've met your goal, right? If they can, demand or request what they want, you've met your goal. And then you program Are you still there? What was the last thing that you heard?
Um, you were telling me about let me see.
I think last thing that I remember you hearing was I was listening to the domains, the 5 domains.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll go back. So right. So if we're programming under that sort of ideal, right, within those domains of communication, self-living skills, stuff like that, right? If our client is able to tie their shoes, right, we met their goal. If they're able to request or demand what they want or what they need, right, we've met their goal. And that's great. That's fantastic, right? And that's how we're trying to, improve the overall quality of life, increase independence, and take a lot of stress off their caregivers. But when it comes to sports and athletics, there's a different factor that's involved that you really have to be critical about when you're programming, and that's the competitive edge. So we can't just teach our athlete to shoot the proper free throw. We have to teach our athlete to shoot the best free throw that's going to be not only better than his or her opponent, but then sometimes better than their own teammates. Because if they're at a certain age where they're competing for scholarships, or they're competing for another position on the team, or maybe just competing for the starting spot, right? It's not just the idea of can you do it or not. It's the idea of can you do it and can you do it better than the next person?
Right.
So your programming changes and how
So
you
like
teach.
master criteria like has to change for sure.
For sure, yes, yes, yes. And there's a lot of, oh man, don't open that door. Don't open that can of worms of mass criteria.
You know I
Um,
had to. You know I had to do it. You knew he was coming. Come on.
my brain just started. I was like, mass criteria, mass criteria. What are you
I do. I
No,
got to.
I guess the way I would approach that is there's still a ton of research that needs to be done with mass criteria, just in general,
Mhm.
um, and how we, assess skills and stuff like that, and blah 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 blah. Long story short, when it comes to athletic performance, that mass criteria has to be not necessarily the mass criteria, but the acquisition sequence is much different than how you would necessarily teach for can you do it or can you not do it. It's yes, you need to do it, but you also need to do it much better, right? The same way that Steph Curry can get his 3-point shot off pretty much anywhere on the court because his release is so quick. Not everyone can do that, but only he can do the way that he does it. So the question is, how did he train to get that specific release? That's how we're training. That's how we're trying to, get athletes to where they want to be, whether it's on the basketball court. But then also, right, we're approaching the mental aspect of the athlete, right? So 90% of the game is confidence, right? If you're nervous, you're not going to play well. If you think about other things, you're not going to play well.
Yeah, and confidence a lot of the time comes from the practice. Not all the time comes from the
Yeah,
practice directly. Like you need to be confident in your own skills to walk into that court and be like, I got this. I know every way this could go. Like I prepared. And then
exactly.
right.
For sure, and so with that, we also incorporate a little bit of acceptance and commitment therapy, right, to help shift some of those negative thoughts, some of those negative self-talk, right. So, for example, you get on the field as a linebacker. For those who don't know, that's a person on defense that likes to tackle everybody. And let's say that you miss one tackle. Um, if if you're not mentally there for the rest of the game, you're going to be focused on that one missed tackle. And then you might miss the next read on the next play. And then the coach might take you out. And then from there, your mind is gone for the rest of the game. Right.
Yeah,
And
all the
so,
skills you
what,
practice are gone. Like yeah, everything that
yeah,
you like mastered already is like oof out.
exactly. And so some of the things that we do is we work with some of those athletes and we say, okay, hey, we understand that you missed a tackle, or we understand that you caused a turnover. Um, and that doesn't feel good. Yeah, I know. It does not feel good at all, and that's a
Punishment.
normal feeling to have.
Hmm.
But how do we shake that, right? How do we get out of that while while we still have opportunity to win the game,
Yeah.
not the next day or waiting for next practice or
How do we
even
diffuse it? Talk about
or
act. How
even
do
waiting
we
until
diffuse
after
it?
halftime. You
Yes.
know, like how do we break that? And that's where a lot of the acceptance and commitment therapy comes in, or sorry, training comes in regards to being able to sustain that sort of that competitive mentality and not necessarily always giving up.
I love that you add that. I love that. I know a lot of coaches, specifically like ABA in fitness and ABA in health and wellness coaches, who do a lot of training on performance and all of that. But many of them kind of stay away from ACT and adding that I guess that layer to their training. I think it's really important to make sure that your athletes and the people that you're coaching are in the right mindset. And
Yeah,
ACT is an amazing tool, an amazing resource to make sure that happens. And it just really it makes my heart really just warm and happy and fuzzy that knowing that you're also on that and like yeah, it's awesome because ACT is life changing. It really is. I mean, I learned about it about 2 years ago actually,
hmm,
and I was mind blown. I was like, wait, what? Like, yeah, it simplifies emotions and diffusing and like, um, so in such a simple way, and it's such a easy way to understand. For anyone who watching this who doesn't know what ACT is, acceptance commitment therapy is I guess a good way to put it is another branch of ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, and it dives more deeply into our private behaviors, specifically how we our self-talk and the stuff we say to ourselves and how we deal with emotions that we're feeling. And I personally I teach it to all of my clients. I teach it to all, at least not like in depth, but the stuff that I think it will be helpful for them. If it's present moment that they need, I'm like, hey, like so maybe look at some present moment activities. I think that'll be helpful for you, kind of thing. And yeah, just sorry to go on an act like tangent there. I just
no,
I
it's all
love it.
good.
I love it. I love it. I yeah. So that's awesome to see. Honestly, you did answer most of the questions that I have on here. I I know that you're a busy man. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you helping on here and joining me.
Oh,
I
no problem.
definitely, I'll definitely be hitting you up again, and we'll definitely keep the conversations going. I really think this is helpful for a lot of people who are in the same boat that we're in, and they kind of can understand that they're not alone. That there's other people out
Hmm.
here, and we got them. Um, so, is there
Oh
any?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I know we talked
yeah, for
about
sure.
Team ABA. Yeah, I know we talked about Team ABA a little bit, but if is there anything that you want to shout out or anything that you have going on that you want to put out there, feel free to call.
Sure, yeah. So we have at Team ABA we have a couple of cool projects launching through our Team ABA University department. So we have our practicing in behavior analysis health sports and fitness course that's starting up. I think in a couple of weeks. Registration is limited. It's just a 5-week course to teach other BCBAs, trainers, or other professionals how to implement ABA within the health sports and fitness world. They are they are I think it's 15 CEUs or 10. I think it's 15. But you get CEUs with it as well. Through the BACB, and this is it's a really detailed course that breaks down a lot about what I was saying earlier, right? The foundations and sort of how to build on that, and then how to um, really take ABA into sports health and fitness. So that's going to be pretty cool to do. And then another kicker with that one is we use the STC chart. So if you don't have any experience with it, it is a really good way to sort of start to get your feet wet with it and sort of learn more about how to graph from the chart and look at the different functionalities of the chart as well and how beneficial it is, not only for sports but also just for graphing in general. Um,
So,
in the light of the Olympics, we actually just released a track and field webinar as well. So the applications of ABA within track and field with I think it's an 800-meter runner. The presenter, she did a fantastic job with with her project and with the different ideas that she put together in her intervention. So if you have a chance, check that out. I think that was worth a couple of CEs as well. And then we just
Yeah, I was
released.
like, how many? Yeah, so like, tell me about CEs because academics are here. Like, we
Oh
need them.
yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, great.
And then we just released last week our what is it called? Approach to professional burnout for BCBAs, taking that more of a health, sports, and fitness approach through acceptance and commitment training as well. That one is worth, that one's worth 10 CEs,
Mhm.
and that one is a self-paced type of 5-week course. So it's really cool. We got a couple of great videos. We got fantastic presenters. They all have ACT experience. All of them are, one's PhD, BCBAD, other one is BCBA, and a nutritionist. Other one is a BCBA student who has a ton of experience with an ACT. But our approach is that we're looking at BCBA burnout from that health, nutrition, and sort of wellness approach that's hopefully going to be more sustainable. And then lastly, sorry, we just have a ton of
I
stuff.
love it. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I love it. Yes.
And then lastly, we do have our supervision program and practical program for those who are interested in collecting independent field hours outside of your typical autism care treatment or clinic-based type of setting. So you can collect your field hours through us, have them count towards the BACB. We'll have you work on potentially just whatever your specialty or whatever you want to focus on, right? Whether it's nutrition, sports athletics, or just overall just like strength training or just working out. So yeah, we got a supervision program, and then our gym that's in DC, fully operated. We do group trainings. We have a basketball camp, basketball league starting up here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully for youth athletes who are looking to get into the AAU circuit, they can come on down to our program. We have an AAU team as well, and a coach that can really help kind of transition those athletes into there. So that gym is in DC. Check out our website at teamaba.com. Sorry, teamaballc.com. Just for more information, or just hit me up.
That's amazing. Yeah, I will be hitting you guys up for sure. I definitely will be hitting you guys up for sure. There's a bunch of courses in there that I need to take myself. And
Yeah.
yeah, if you
Sorry,
are,
real quick.
Hmm?
Real quick. So the courses will be at teamabauniversity.com. So yeah, just want to make sure
on your bio, right? I think I saw it on your bio, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, awesome. Make it find another there. Oh, so yeah, honestly, that sounds awesome. I am in my master's program. I'm on my way to become a BCBA, and as someone who was struggling to find someone to give me supervision hours, I can assure anyone watching this is amazing. I really appreciate that you guys are doing this. I've been blessed enough that I reached out to to other BCBAs in the field who agreed to supervise me and mentor me and stuff. But hey, the more options, the better. That's amazing. It happened. That's awesome. Well, I'll let you go though. Thank you so much for joining me. Joining us actually. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And yeah, we'll stay in touch for sure. You'll definitely hear from me. You'll definitely hear more.
For sure. It was a pleasure being on. Thank you for having me. If you don't have any questions, just hit me. Just contact me directly. And yeah, let's definitely stay connected. Let's make it happen.
Yes, let's make it happen. I love it. All right, take care there. Stay safe.
All right, you have a good one.